and they're going to get censored. I guarantee you that,
Yeah.
and they're going to get shadow banned or whatever happens on TikTok. It will start happening. I bet it already has started happening.
Right.
And that's not going to go well. Toothpaste is out of the tube.
Right.
And it is smeared all over the bathroom. By permanently banning my free speech, no one changed my mind.
Marjorie Taylor Greene just exposed Israel's sinister scheme to propagandize Americans and how they're unleashing this scheme in various phases in the United States as they see support for Israel slipping away. How this extends to large-scale media networks and Larry Ellison's media empire, all the way to social media platforms and propagandizing Christians in the pulpit. So let's get right into it. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel.
Do you think this generationally seems to be changing? People my age and younger
Drastically.
are looking at the images that came out of Gaza, and they were going, "I'm funding this. Our country is funding this." TikTok just got sold. By the way, I'm sure you know.
I do know.
Okay.
I voted against the TikTok ban, by the
Right.
way. I was one of the few.
Right. It's very interesting to me that TikTok
yes, now
was
it's sold.
just sold to Larry Ellison, who is the single largest private donor to the IDF
Right.
in the world.
I just learned that recently as well.
Yes. And I mean, you can donate to anything you want. God bless.
Sure.
However, it does seem interesting, curious, perhaps, that the largest social media app in the world that was the driver of a lot of anti-Israel sentiment amongst young people in the West, primarily America, was recently bought by the largest donor to the IDF,
To the Israeli military.
Larry Ellison. His son recently purchased Paramount, which includes, CBS News. Barry Weiss, who we like, charming. We like Barry Weiss. But Barry has a political agenda. Is that shocking to someone? I don't think it's shocking.
No, it's not shocking, but it's pretty insane that Larry Ellison and his son David Ellison are trying to buy up these propaganda machines, and Barry Weiss's free press was valuated at $150 million. And I say this not to boast, but if you look at this channel's performance compared to the free press, this channel outperforms the free press. And it had the valuation of $150 million. It's so absurd. This is just to try to rubber stamp Zionism upon a new media empire and try to dominate social media through TikTok when, let's just say, the Zionists and AIPAC and the ruling class weren't exactly happy when actual images seeped out onto social media in 4K and videos showing Israel's atrocities, the IDF's atrocities, the IDF that Larry Ellison supports with millions of dollars. It was never about China. It never was. That was the propaganda to antagonize you against China while Israel tries to maintain control over the U.S. and have it banned. Now we have Andreessen Horowitz and Larry Ellison buying that out. And, there's already news and reports of people getting shadow banned, having material removed, all for the Zionist quest. That's all what this is.
She now runs CBS News. There are talks to potentially for the Ellison family to buy Warner Brothers, Discovery, or, I believe that. David Zaslav runs that now. There's talks about that, which owns CNN. Okay. When we look at what's unfolding right now in terms of access to information, censorship, okay?
Yep.
Are we troubled? A lot of people I know are troubled. A lot of people I know feel that this is a power grab to try to control the information coming out of that region.
Gee, have we ever seen that before?
Yeah, right. So I'm just...
no. We've never been through that.
So, I mean, Now if you point this out,
Mm-hmm.
if you point it out, I will be called a conspiracy theorist or something.
Anti-Semite for sure.
Whatever it is,
For sure you will be called that, but it is true. And hey, people are starting to, not exactly care as much, knowing that that's the same thing as when you just were called racist or sexist when you said something that someone didn't want to argue an actual case against, to just dismiss you. That word is going by the wayside. And these guys are right. I mean, Barry Weiss being elevated to editor-in-chief of CBS News, and in the statement introducing this, David Ellison said, Barry is a proven champion of independent, principled journalism. How absurd was that? This would be truthful if this said, Barry is a proven champion of Hasbara, Zionist propaganda. That would be true. But yeah, this isn't a conspiracy. This is a sign of desperation. They can't let the information slip away, but yet that's what's happening, especially with younger Americans that aren't supporting Israel like their fathers and their fathers' fathers. That's what you're getting now, and I don't know how long they can try to maintain this propaganda scheme when all eyes are on what is the correct thing, and that's the fact that Israel's killing tons of people with U.S. bankroll. Prioritizing Israel over the United States by our own politicians, by our deep state, selling out the American people for this foreign regime that never gives an iota of benefit to us. That's exactly what's happening.
You know what I mean? But everything I just said was just a fact.
Those are just facts.
These are just facts. They have nothing to do with opinions.
said-
I'm not editorializing at all.
No.
At all, by the way.
You said a company was sold. Here's who bought it.
Right.
Here's one of their biggest donations is to a foreign country's military.
Yeah.
No, these are all just facts.
These are all facts.
Yep.
So, I mean, as a member of Congress, are you worried about consolidation in the media sphere with regard to the information that Americans are getting? Not only about this conflict, but about everything.
Yes. And so in 2022, I took to my personal Twitter account on January 2nd, and I created a massive tweet thread all about COVID and against the vaccines and why they shouldn't be approved by the FDA and against masking and just went 100% against what was supposed to be the talking points
Right.
of COVID. And I'm a member of Congress. And literally that day, my Twitter account I was permanently banned on Twitter.
Permanently banned.
Yep.
A member of Congress.
Sitting member of Congress.
They banned the president too. This is what you get. This is what you get when the state is so tied into social media giants. And we know from the Twitter files, there were lines of communication between Twitter executives and 3-letter agencies to try to moderate what the regime did and did not want. Marjorie Taylor Greene was persona non grata. Going against the COVID regime, that's a no-no. Not selling the vaccine propaganda, which wasn't even a vaccine, it was an mRNA treatment. That's an ixnay on her. If she doesn't buy into Fauci's propaganda and 6-foot rule and cloth masks, she's the enemy. And oh, the Wuhan lab leak theory was a conspiracy too. All this nonsense targeted toward her, but her stance on that aged particularly well. And guess what? I have the sense that her opinions on Israel will age particularly well as those who double down on Israel's atrocities and the genocide and say there is no genocide. Their narratives will age like sour milk.
My account got permanently banned.
For saying things that probably a lot of what you were saying now is completely non-controversial.
Uh-huh.
Right.
And my reaction to that, am I allowed to say words on this?
You say anything you want.
Okay. My reaction to that was, fuck you.
Right.
Okay.
Unless Larry Ellison just bought my YouTube channel, which I will sell him. And if he buys my YouTube channel, then this whole interview's cut. But go on.
Yeah. So by permanently banning my free speech, no one changed my mind. As a matter of fact,
Right.
I got deeper ingrained in it.
Right.
That's exactly what happens. I'm cracking up. These two crack me up that Marjorie Taylor Greene asked that, then drops the F-bomb and then tip. Tim cracks me up, man. Larry Ellison, I guess, could buy this up anytime and this interview will be gone. But she's right. I mean, banning doesn't change your opinion. I mean, what would cause you to believe that that would change your opinion or get onlookers to see this playing out? Oh, yeah, they did a great thing. That's the cornerstone of America is free speech. You're going to take that away and we're going to be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Too many people did. Too many people did when people like Alex Jones and Gavin McInnes got banned too, but you can see the slippery slope. It never goes well and typically does backfire. Just now, just as it did in the early 1800s when William Pitt the Younger unfurled a propaganda censorship campaign against pamphlets, against the rights of man and Thomas Paine and all sorts of, things.
And I got more radicalized in it. And I would not refuse to wear a mask on the House floor, and Nancy Pelosi fined me $2,500 every single day that I walked on the House floor not wearing a mask. And I got more vocal, and I got more
and she
angry.
invested that money. But
legally.
Yeah, she got into NVIDIA with that money, as Tim knows.
So, no, but I got more radicalized in my opinions.
Right.
I was like, how dare they? They completely silenced me over this. I'm going to tell you right now, toothpaste is out of the tube.
Right.
And it is smeared all over the bathroom.
Right.
Not only is it younger generations, I would say 40 and under, but it's also in my generation. And the baby boomers, they're too glued to Fox News and CNN every day. However, all these young people, I don't care who owns TikTok. There is not going to be any mass programming and propaganda campaign that is going to change their opinions.
Right.
And they're going to get censored. I guarantee you that. And they're going to get shadow banned or whatever happens on TikTok. It will start happening. I bet it already has started happening.
Right.
And that's not going to go well.
Yeah, it isn't. I mean, people are smarter and savvier than they might appear if you think they're just going to buy into this propaganda and try to erase information. I mean, obviously, I'm opposed to, making TikTok a Zionist haven. That will be the pressure that you're going to see. Max Blumenthal has covered this a little bit. That is what you're seeing. But she's right. There's this new campaign. It's a desperation, erratic campaign because they see this narrative slipping away with younger and younger demographics and baby boomers generally clinging to a more pro-Israel view. That's just generally. But younger people are leaving this whole scheme in droves. And Megyn Kelly, who is a self-proclaimed Zionist, called this out saying, hey, no one under 30 is pro-Israel. That just doesn't exist. And, that's not exactly true, but it's darn close to being true. I think she's so right for that. And guess what? By doing that, she strayed off the pro-Israel reservation a little bit too far. That's why they're gunning for her now and questioning her integrity and her loyalty to the, adherence to the rigid pro-Zionist mentality. Even though she does defend Israel, she defends Hasbara propaganda when it comes to the genocide and not being able to trust any pictures coming out of Gaza because of that, etc. That is what we're dealing with here. And these things don't stop with buying a media empire, CBS, buying TikTok. We also have giant geofencing schemes designed to inundate American Christians with ads. So what geofencing is you wander close to your congregation going to church, and your device is essentially taken over by this pro-Israel app that serves up Israeli propaganda. You think I'm lying, but I'm not. Israel's spending $4.1 million on this, hoping to touch 5% of American Christians. It's supposed to be deployed into metropolises with churches. And, this is just, it's so ridiculous. You're going to get pro-Israeli propaganda about October 7th. Ads inundating you with how patriotic it is to support Israel, our greatest ally in the Middle East. And this is something getting very little attention. I mean, maybe it doesn't deserve as much attention as TikTok being bought up by Zionists, or Paramount, which owns CBS, for being bought up by Zionists. But this is serious too. So yeah, I'm so glad that Marjorie Taylor Greene is one of the very few heroic people in Congress really exposing some of this madness. And I think thank Tim for having her on his show too, because this was an excellent interview through and through. It didn't just touch on Israel issues, but we are dealing with a lot of Israel issues, right? So Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna and some others are doing an amazing job at exposing the lunacy that is prioritizing Israel above the interests of the United States. While the U.S. is in far greater debt to a far greater proportion to its when compared to its GDP, for the fact that, hey, you know, Americans can't exactly afford college and fuel and food very well when we're inundated with inflation year after year. And they say inflation figures are low, but I guarantee if you go in and to the supermarket, take a look at eggs and meat. You know, meat for me, I live in Nashville. I went into the grocery store the other day. It's about double what it was in 2021. And that was when, you know, inflation was taking off. So that's what we're dealing with here. We have lies, compounded debt, you know, an abandonment of U.S. sovereignty, a complete perverted sense of American issues prioritized in the wrong way to benefit Americans. We don't get anything from that as our government is taken over by AIPAC and the Israel lobby. We're seeing Zionists really struggle to maintain. There's also that Zionist program, you know, paying people as much as $7,000 per X post to put out blatant propaganda for Israel. I mean, some people are doing this. It's being called out. It's really become a meme with many of the anti-Israel or non-interventionist people calling this out as an obvious $7,000 post. And that's what we need more of, to ridicule this, expose this, show how ridiculous this is so that people see the truth about this thing. But I do want to hear from you. Do you agree with Marjorie Taylor Greene? You know, is this a perverted relationship? Is this how the Zionists and Israel are trying to propagandize Americans? Let me know in the comments down below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Also subscribe to Seth Dillon. Not Seth Dillon. No, don't subscribe to Seth Dillon. Tim Dillon. Subscribe to Tim Dillon, not Seth. Tim is the better Dillon, all right? Great interview by Tim, by the way. And if you like this video and my commentary, please consider joining as a YouTube member of mine by clicking the join button below. If you do that, you can support the channel. And in return for that, I'll give you access to all my videos before they go live to the general public. And until I see you guys next time, no more war, no more debt, no more inflation, and no more empire. Peace out, guys. Catch you in the next one.